Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now April 25th of 2021, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2's finale, a lot of fans around the world have been very curious and skeptical about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that we do know about when it comes to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni is that they are really working very hard on numerous projects, not to mention, of course, Star Wars Ahsoka, The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4 back-to-back, as well as them having a large role in the Kenobi TV series, which is supposed to come out by next year in 2022. Now, what's really all the more exciting has everything to do with actress Gina Carano. I'm sure that you guys heard about the big news today of what happened with her and Nat Geo / Bear Grylls. We'll go over that in just a bit. But everything has been falling into place here, and it really seems like that the fandom may very well get things going their way based on voicing and raising their opinions and raising their voice. So everything that did happen back in February when Gina Carano was let go from the Mandalorian series, obviously the way that Kathleen Kennedy went about doing it was also a very poor way of really letting the Star Wars fandom know that she was fired. You know, she did this through Twitter, she did this through, trending hashtags. It's not like she actually had her called into an office privately to get her fired. So this all really happened over time on Twitter and other accounts on social media. So with that being said, of course, what's really intriguing about the Gina Carano situation now is that it is actually developing. It is actually progressing to closer to the point of her coming back to the Mandalorian series, and here's why. Now, the Disney higher-ups over at Lucasfilm, we're talking about the board members. There is a massive switch happening right now as we speak behind the scenes. Now, specifically, of course, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are focused on their new Star Wars universe with projects such as Star Wars Ahsoka and, of course, Kenobi, it's noted that creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are doing everything in their power to bringing back many forms of Star Wars legends in their upcoming Star Wars TV shows. Now, it's best noted that since the Gina Carano firing, many, of course, Disney higher-ups over at Disney overall, the board members, etc., behind the scenes have been forming a plan to bring back actress Gina Carano into the Star Wars universe in order to satisfy the Star Wars fandom. Further, it's noted that since Gina Carano is coming back to Nat Geo, with, of course, the Bear Grylls episode, Disney is said to be beginning to cave to bring her back altogether on Star Wars The Mandalorian series, and that even Disney CEO Bob Chapek has been in the talks with many of those board members on how they could properly bring her back without it appearing to be a form of damage control, which would show weakness as a company and an inconsistency in the hiring of actors and actresses. Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy behind the scenes is best described to be furious over these discussions of rehiring Gina Carano. Now, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are best described to have a meeting with the board members of Disney this May on new conversations of rehiring Gina Carano. Favreau is said to be very well aware that if Gina is rehired, it will also create more setbacks, as there will need to be further rewrites to the Mandalorian series, such as Season 3. Now, with the recent Nat Geo decision of Gina being allowed to show in Bear's episode, Disney is now in an act of desperation to keep the Star Wars fandom satisfied as much as possible in order to keep The Mandalorian relevant as a series and more. So here's the thing about Disney right now. This is a very interesting development because this goes to show you that Disney is indeed beginning to cave. They are beginning to fall to what the Star Wars fandom is demanding. The Star Wars fandom just wants Gina Carano back because, let's face it guys, at the end of the day, she never really did anything extremely wrong to the point where she needed to be fired. To some people, maybe it was a little too much. Did she deserve to be fired? Absolutely not. That's just my opinion, guys. If you disagree with that, that's fine. Everybody has their own outlook on things. Now, when we go ahead and look at Gina Carano, we saw her Twitter post not too long ago about how you are, yes, going to be able to see her episode on Bear Grylls, after all, on Nat Geo. Now, this is a big development because now Disney's being put into a position where they are actually having a lot of discussions on rehiring Gina Carano, creating a master plan to bring her back. Of course, there is a divide between the board members. There are board members over at Disney that do not like Gina Carano. Meanwhile, other board members actually do support her 100%. So it's a mixed bag for them. They really don't know exactly, where things are going right now. But John and Dave are indeed going to have a meeting with the higher-ups over at Disney of bringing back Gina Carano into the Mandalorian series and how this could work smoothly and efficiently without heavy rewrites. Now, obviously, Jon Favreau is pretty much near done writing The Mandalorian Season 3 and doing all of the rewrites that has been going on for the past month and a half. He would have to most likely undo a lot of that by bringing back Gina into the equation. Now, my thing is this: they could do something as simple as just throwing her in the form of a cameo or a glorified scene in order to save the rewriting process, and then maybe make her a full-fledged character in Season 4 once again. Guys, gotta remember that Season 3 and 4 are being worked on back-to-back, both with the script writing, both with production, and eventually principal photography. It's all being done pretty much at the same time because 3 and 4 are going to work in conjunction with each other. They're going to be very important. So there's been a lot of talk that obviously they're going to release Mando Season 3 and 4 closer together as far as release goes, so that's also another thing to look forward to. Given that the Book of Boba Fett is still labeled as a mini-series, quote-unquote, it may very well be as short as 4 episodes, 1 hour each. The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, that's going to be a different ballgame. They want to up it to 10 episodes per season, instead of, I believe it was the traditional 8. So, like I've said, this is a very interesting progression of what's happening with the Disney CEO, Bob Chapek, the board members over at Disney, and especially Gina Carano. Pretty much Disney is locked in this position right now where they are actually hearing the fandom's voice and how persistent that voice really is, and how that voice is not stopping at anything. And when they realize that, obviously, they're going to have to make a make or break situation. They're going to have to either A, bring her back, or B, not bring her back at all, which could damage things even further. So this is all a big process. This May is going to be a big month because a lot of things are going to be happening behind the scenes over at Disney and Lucasfilm between Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, and the rehiring of Gina Carano, and all of these different negotiations that are taking place right now as we speak. It's a very interesting development that she's coming back to Nat Geo. This is huge. Nobody expected this. Nobody was really looking forward to this in the first place because we all figured what was done, right? So now things are really pulling in reverse, where a lot of things are really starting to develop, and I think that we're going to eventually get what we want, and Disney's going to really bring it up to the fans. So obviously we got The Bad Batch coming out on May 4th, a couple days from now, not much longer. It's going to make its massive debut on Disney+. We'll have to see how that performs. And that, of course, is going to stretch out, for a good period of time, and then we're going to have a break, and then we're going to have the Book of Boba Fett this December. And then next year, 2022, is the big year of Star Wars TV shows. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.